Okay, so we're on Samach Tesimud base. And the Mishnah had mentioned about Asau Yochsan Olam Babel. And the question was, why does it say Olu and not at Holchu, that the Gemara said that there's Israel is higher than the rest of the lands? And then it spoke about now why it talks about Babel. We can start again a little bit. My area. My area. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines from the top. Let's try to pick it up a little bit, open it up. Okay. Amen. So that's the question. Which of course we'd want to say Aliyah Eretz Yisrael. Why does it say Alumi Babel? That's true. When you make Aliyah, you have 2 miles. You leave the place you were and you go to Eretz Yisrael. But the Dagesh should be in Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara says, that there was a point to say that they left Babel, Alumi Babel. And simple pshat seems to be that it wasn't only the fact that it came to Eretz Yisrael, there was a Dagesh that left Eretz Yisrael. And Rashi says that Ezra, when he was leaving, he dafka wanted to clean out Babel because he knew that the authority of the Rabbanim are leaving. The Lishkas HaGozis, Rabbanim are going to be in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, whatever's possible over there, they might be hefker and they might start intermarrying, and people are not going to know that they're marrying Psulim. So therefore, he was Mafriach, he forced, we'll see soon in a second, that he might have forced or whatever orchestrated that the Psulim should leave Eretz Yisrael, should leave Babel and come to Eretz Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael to be under control. But in Babel, it would have been hefker. So the Dagesh is that he left. He made them to leave Babel. That's why it's that Madgish. Alumi Babel. What would you like?
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. That's good. He wanted that it should be Alumi Babel. Not more in the first white line. Some of Testament base. Itmar Abai Amar Olu, which means Me'eleim. Tanan. Rav Amar Helo. The word Helo means that he forced them. He forced them against their will to go up. If they wanted to or they didn't want to, and other means that they did it on their own. The Gemara thinks at this point that Abai doesn't hold like Rabbi Lazar, who said that Ezra was the one who brought them up. They happened to go. Abai Rabbi Lazar. The Gemara sees that only Rabbi fits with that member that Ezra brought them up. But if you say that they went up, that sounds like they did it on their own. And maybe also Babel became clean, maybe because they left Babel. But why did they leave Babel? It doesn't say. According to Abai, it says they went up on their own. It doesn't say why they went up. Also, you could answer the question maybe why is the Mishnah emphasize Olami Babel instead of saying Olol Eretz Yisrael? It could be because it got cleaned out, but not that Ezra did it, not that it was B'kavana maybe. But according to the first shot, the Gemara does not say why they would have gone up by their own. Third white line, you could say that Abai also agrees with Rabbi Lazar that Ezra made Babel should be Solus Nakia. And he got all the Psulim out. But he didn't force them to come up. So what does Abai mean to say they went up on their own? This is as far as we got yesterday, that Abaya also holds that Ezra orchestrated that they should go up to Babel, but he didn't do it by telling them to come up. He just declared he separated them literally. He separated them and he declared each yichos that this is a cholol, this is a mamzer, this is a safek mamzer, and then on their own they already went up. So Rashi says, why did they go up? Did they go up to Israel? Not because they after one the same shemayim, but because they were in trouble now. Since Ezra announced these psulim, and they had difficulty getting married now, it seems they wanted to intermarry even though they weren't allowed to. They wanted to have marriages that were not permissible. So they thought they might be better off in Eretz Yisrael where they weren't so declared. They were over there, it wasn't declared publicly, even though Ezra was really going up with them. So it was the same one who made the problem. Yeah, but I don't understand, because if you call it, I don't like to say it, but call him Ezra's the problem maker. Like he's the one who made the problem, that he told everybody that these people are mamzerim and suffolk mamzerim. So he's the one who's going up with them. So why do they trust that he's not going to be quiet over there? But according to Bai, that's what happened, that he didn't have to bring them up. He just I say a little different than Rashi, that if they might as well go up already. But once they're already psulim, I'm not sure. But anyway, according to Abaye, they went up on their own. Ezra might have orchestrated it indirectly, but they went up on their own. But according to Rabbah, that Ezra made sure that all of them went up. Oh, now the Gemara is going to start a machlokes that approving one way or the other. Did Ezra bring them up, Helum, or did they go up on their own? This member says that in the level of purity of yichus, to know how pure it is, Babel is the best, and then Eretz Yisrael, and then the rest of the different lands. Means Eretz Yisrael is not as clean as Babel. As far as the yichus, to know yichus, when we ever say yichus nowadays, the word yichus means like if Chashava people and Rosh Hashiva, all these things. But it doesn't mean that. The yichus means if we have pure lineage, we know that the Jews, we know about how their yichus is. The yichus means their lineage. So according to Abaye, that it was not a conscious bringing up all of the psulim. Again, so it could be, we understand that Eretz Yisrael was not as pure as Babel. Babel was cleaned out, even if they came up on their own. But there was no pikuach. There was not any supervision about the yichus. According to Abaya, they did it on their own. Oh, maybe like the first Torah of the Gemara that Ezra didn't even have for shinu, but they came up on their own. So then we could understand that Babel is very clean and Eretz Yisrael is not as clean. But if Ezra's whole purpose was to get them out, so Ezra knew who's who, and he's taking them up. So we know in Eretz Yisrael also who's who. So it should have been as clean in Eretz Yisrael as it was in Babel. Why is Babel considered cleaner than Eretz Yisrael? The answer is, that's part of the kasha still. That everybody knew who they were. So why would Eretz Yisrael be problematic? The answer is, that they did know in that generation, but in the future generations, people will forget. In the Babel, there were no psulim anymore. He took out all the psulim. So there was no problem anymore. Even if it gets forgotten, there are no psulim. But in Eretz Yisrael, even though they knew about it, so the first generation, there were psulim that they knew about, but the next generation might forget about it. And they might intermarry again. So that's why Babel is cleaner than Eretz Yisrael. There's a problem. There's a question on all these Gemaras because it isn't hard to create new psulim. It means that you took out all the psulim. But how long does it take to get a mamzer or a chalal? If a kohen marries a grusha, so the next, it doesn't take long to create a new one. So
it's already the Yad Yisrael was short, so it didn't allow something.
You're going another way. Babel is clean. Yisrael is not clean. Babel is not clean. So it's more hefker. So it should be much more money, more problem. Yeah. And the Gemara looks at it, they took out all the psulim, and now it stays clean as if nothing else, no new problems arise.
Maybe another that people like a lot of because if it's clean, so people don't want to be the first ones to be the better people. But
I'm not sure because the way they created is not because the creating is diverse.
No, I mean it's a place that's full of pashim. Then they do. And now it was clean, so it takes time till they start doing shia, but more varied. The gang is gone.
They took out. I don't think so. They didn't take out the Rishon. They took out the Psulim. But the people who might do a Chayve Krisos and the Kohen might marry Grusha. So I'm not sure why the Gemara looks at the ones that were puzzled where they are. Once you got rid of the Psulim, so it's clean. And the Gemara talks about if the future generations if that be forgotten or not, in Eretz Yisrael it might be forgotten. There's another problem that has to be addressed that it might become new psulim. Not hard to generate new psulim. Okay, but that's the Gemara that the Gemara answers according to everybody. It's possible that the bubble is cleaner than Eretz Yisrael. Next one. That achva is a mistake. It's ahava. It doesn't mean ahava love because it has a vav. It's not a base. But there was a river over there that's called Nahar Abo Alava. That was when they were coming up Ezra. The Aliyah says it was coming up to Eretz Yisrael, so from Babel to Eretz Yisrael. So on the way they stopped, they made a station. Not on the way, when they were leaving Babel. It says that he took count of the people. He contemplated, reflected on the people. And he saw there were no Leviim. They were Yisraelim, but there were no Leviim. So the Gemara understands that according to Baye, that there was no Dafka Ezra Mamish took care of the Yichus. So it's possible he didn't notice that there were no Levim until they were ready to go. This sounds a little bit like the first answer to Gemara that Ezra didn't mafresh them either. If ever was mafresh them, it also would be the same problem that how come he didn't notice the Levim? But the Gemara is asking that if Ezra was very interested in the yichus, and he was separating everybody. This is possible. He got the chalolim, the mamzerim, the suffix mamzerim. So he would have known the Kohen of Levim Israel also. He also would have taken note that the Levim were not there. Why did he not notice until they're ready to go? The Gemara answers, he does that he only was concentrating on the psulim. He wasn't so concentrating on he was taking note of the psulim. It's true that he said, "Oh, this is kosher, this is kosher, this is kosher," but he wasn't interested in seeing who's coming up until they were ready to go. And he saw the no Levim. So then it says that he sent to get some Levim to come with him. Okay, that's so far we did Alu Mibavel. Asar Yuchsim, Alu Mibavel. We did Alu going up to Eretz Yisrael. It's called an Aliyah, and Mibavel, that Dafka bubble was cleaned out, either by Ezra or by themselves, or Ezra declared and they went up by themselves. And now the Gemara goes to explain the Mishnah. How do you know that these 10 Yichusim came up from Bavel? Koni Levi Yisraeli. How do you know? Menalam, the sleeper. How do you know that all these different Yichusim of Koni Levi Yisrael came up from Bavel? So here's a pasuk, and the pasuk it says a lot of them. It's not going to, and the Gemara is going to go on to say different ones for different pasukim. It says Vayeshvu HaKohanim. There's Kohanim. Ve'Halavim also. You have Levim over here also. Omina'am. Mishorim, Shoarim. Those are Mishorim and Shoarim of all Levim. They have different tafkidim. Avanasinim is also Nasinim right here. Ba'Rehem, B'chol Yisrael Ba'Rehem. Other Jews, Israelim. So you have here Kohen Levim Yisraelim, and you also have Nasinim already. So we got 4 out of 10. Well, it's all one pasuk. It's all a pasuk, right? If you look on the side over here.
What do we need? What is this proving?
We're trying to find out the 10 Yichusim that came up from Bavel. So we have already 4. Which pasuk are we looking for here?
Are you putting the Mishorim and the Shoarim as one?
They happen to be Levim. The Levim also. We don't need that. It says fresh Levim. It says Levim. It happens to be Shoarim. Whenever it says Levim, whenever it says the whole list, so it means Levim that were not Mishorim and Shoarim. There might have been other Levim that are other tafkidim. Mishorim and Shoarim. So that's the pasuk. This is Ezra Beis, which is before Ezra came up on the scene. Ezra and Sefer Ezra comes on the scene in Ezra Perek Zion. So this pasuk was before Ezra, and there was the first Aliyah already. So the Gemara is not mafchin dafka that Ezra brought them up, even though it says that Ezra is the one who got them up. But the Mishnah says so they came up in the first Aliyah is also good. This pasuk is from the first Aliyah, and it says over there.
Chemir was the first Aliyah, wasn't it?
Chemir was much later.
Oh, really?
That was like 30 years after, I think, about 30 years. And then the Tashas, I think he's the latest. But Kohen, like you see, Ezra Nehemiah, right? That's how it goes. The book of Nehemiah is after Ezra. And Ezra comes on the scene. You don't see the word, Ezra doesn't come on the scene until Ezra Perek Zion.
So who was the one who waited for his Rebbe?
Ezra came up later than the rest. Ezra's the second Aliyah. Nehemiah came later on his own. Nehemiah came to build a wall. He heard that the wall was the people needed help, so he came. He was in the government by the Persians. So we have already 4 out of 10. The next one talks about chalalim. I'm sorry, take that out. Make it a yellow one over here. Now we're going to be looking about chalalim. How do you know that chalalim? I'm not going to talk about Gem Charu yet. This talk more is going to be about chalalim. How do you know that chalalim came up from Eretz Yisrael? So I'd like to do a little different than the Gemara for a second, because it's a little kasha that we're going to have. So in the pasuk, it's going to say over here, "Vayigalu Menakuna." That's going to be the pasuk that the Gemara is going to concentrate, going to focus on, and that means that they were Vayigalu, like disgusted from the kuna, something like that, some kind of word like that. There were people that were suffering if they were kohanim or not, and the Gemara understands that they were halalim. Let's see the pasuk. It brings the Tanya. We're going to see a brisa that has a different subject that's going to be in parentheses. Try to put the whole thing in parentheses because the subject seems to be the Gemara's raya seems to be from the pasuk alone, and here's a big pasuk. Chazaka is very gedol. Chazaka to keep things status quo. That's called chazaka. So there's a very great power. Chazaka is a power that we're going to see that halachically you could use a chazaka to keep status quo. That what you're doing till now you're allowed to continue. But that's not a subject right now. We'll get to it in a second. Shenema. Here's a big pasuk, a very long pasuk. It's saying the yichus of the people over there. We can look on the pasuk on the side. Do this over here. Number 5. This is where Ezra, Perek Beis, Samach Aleph, Samach Beis, Samach Gimel, Ubevnei Kohanim. He's saying the yichus of the people came up. This again is the first Aliyah. So it says, Bnei Chabayo, Bnei Akos, Bnei Barzilai, Asher Chach, Bibnos Barzilai Giladi Isha, it says three families over there. The families of Kohanim, Bnei Chavayo, Bnei Akot, also Bnei Barzilai. Barzilai himself was not Bnei Kohanim, Barzilai Giladi, but his daughters married Kohanim, it seems, and they still kept a woman's name, which usually don't do. Usually the woman takes the husband's name, but over here, the Chashav name of Barzilai, but that's not the point. They were families of Kohanim. These people, they try to find their yichus papers. How do you call that? Their lineage records, whatever. The word yachas we call with a samach here, with the word sin in the Tanakh. They were, what's a nice word for goal? Some kind of disgust or scorned or put down. Anything excluded? That's what they were. Usually, the goal nefesh kind of thing. What? Exiled? I thought it's more like Chaim David said with the ayin, even though it's with the aleph, that they were like goal, like goal. Right. Over there it says that to be polite. To be polite. Goal nefesh to be expelled. And here that'll be with the ayin. And the point is that they were expelled. Okay, so they were expelled from the kuna, but the lashon of Vayigolu, Rashi says means some kind of schalalu. What's Rashi over here? That's going to be the point. Where Rashi, which word? Okay, so this word Golu is going to be the Gemara's point to say that they were halalim. The truth is, you could, on the pshat level, he doesn't say that they weren't able to prove that they're kohanim. So you can't be a kohen, maybe you're Yisrael. Doesn't say. But the Gemara is like Golu. The Gemara says the Gemara's mashma that this word is a strong word, and it sounds like they were maybe have been kohanim, but they were halalim, or at least a suffix halal. That's why the suffix halal doesn't sound like they were balei halal, even according to. The Teshasa is Nehemiah, that the pasuk says. Nehemiah is called Teshasa. Question why he's called that, but he told them that they should not eat Kodesh HaKodashim. The coming case is wrong that they shouldn't eat Kodesh HaKodashim because we don't know if they're Kohanim until the Kohen is going to what and be able to verify. Maybe that's what the pshat means. We'll verify if they're Kohanim or not, or like the Gemara says when Mashiach is going to come. But eventually we'll know. Maybe they didn't have room to him in the Bayit Sheni, but the point is to say that we don't know if you're Kohanim, so therefore you can't eat Kodesh HaKodashim. So really, what the Gemara wants to bring from this whole thing is the pasuk. This pasuk Vayigolu Menakuna. So back to the Gemara, try to shrink it a little bit.
That can't be approved for the Urim Between wasn't invasion.
The pasuk would be that it was, and the Gemara that says there wasn't has to deal with this pasuk.
And Nehemiah, who would have been if the Kongo would have dealt with it?
What?
Nehemiah wouldn't be the one.
No, he wasn't the Kohen. But he says when the Kohen Betumim, so then you'll be able to verify if you're a.
How is Ezra differentiating things? Not through the war?
How did Ezra work?
Earlier we were saying that Ezra was saying.
No, he doesn't say the war anything. He knew that this family had a chazaka, or they were Suffolk at least, and if they were halalim, question if they were Kohanim Psulim. So the Gemara says that you're right that this pasuk is before Ezra. So the Gemara doesn't make a difference, even though it said that Ezra's one who brought them up. But that's not the point. The point is Olam Babel that, and this was even in the first Aliyah, that there were people that were halalim or Suffolk halalim or Suffolk. And really the Gemara could have just brought the pasuk without this whole brayso that we're saying now. So it's only a pasuk. All this is a pasuk, and the Gemara wanted these words of the pasuk. So now, the Gemara, for some reason, I don't know the answer, the Gemara brings a brisa, and the rest of the sugi is a brisa that we can put in parentheses, because it's not the subject. We finished the answer already.
This is the part of the Tanya.
Right, now the Tanya brings a pasuk that's 3 lines. The brisa brings a pasuk. So, if I may, this is not nice, but just between us. I'm not allowed to do this because the Gemara brings a brisa to answer the question, but really it's that's the pasuk. Halalim minalan shenema. It brings this pasuk. Vayigolu menakuna. So you see that they were halalim, and that's all the Gemara is going to say. But it happened. But instead of bringing the pasuk, the Gemara brings a brisa. Which
how are we going to know the brisa?
What?
How are we going to know the brisa?
Okay, so what should have said? Halalim minalan vayigolu menakuna. Tanya. Tanya.
Marlahem is part of the Tanya.
Right. So the brisa brings a long brisa. Let's see how long it is. This is the brisa. I mean, that's the brisa. But then the Gemara is going to continue also. The whole discussion of the Gemara till the next page is all going to be a tangent. We're going on a cruise. But we needed to know that they were halalim. Is this pasuk vayagalu menakuna? Now, but we'll bring you a brisa that includes the pasuk and also says much more. So I don't mean to put the end parentheses over here. The brisa is over there. I should correct this end parentheses. Then parentheses goes on the next page.
The price is not over it.
The brisa is over where I'll point out what end of the brisa is. But all this is listening. The whole subject here is not our subject. It's a side extra bonus over here. The brisa is over. Where does that go? Period. Here's the brisa.
That's what you said.
Yeah, but I made a parenthesis and parentheses, so I changed that to a period. And now the Gemara is continuing, but the parentheses is the whole thing's a parentheses because not our subject. Okay, now the Gemara is going to explain the pasuk. Rav Yossi starts. Remember Rav Yossi started talking over here. Rav Yossi, I'm going to show you how great chazaka is. The power of chazaka to keep something status quo. Because the pasuk says this whole pasuk, and it says that Nehemiah told them they may not eat Kodesh HaKadoshim until it's verified. Amalahem. Nehemiah told them, you could keep on doing what you did until now, even though we don't know that you're going suffer Kohanim, halalim. But it's not we don't know you're halalim, we don't know, but it's a suffix if you're Kohanim or not. So you could continue doing what you did until now. Because you consider till now they consider themselves Kohanim. Just now they came times they said bring out your records. They weren't able to find the records, so they said okay, we don't know if you're Kohanim. But till now you were eating kachek gvul. Kachek gvul means the kachim that you're allowed to eat out of Eretz Yisrael, out of the Beis Hamikdash, which means truma. And the Gemara is going that they had truma, and bubble, and they were eating. They considered themselves Kohanim, and they were eating truma and bubble. So you could continue eating what you ate until now. Afkan, nami b'kachek gvul. You could continue eating truma, but you cannot eat kachim. So very interesting. You see that even though we don't know that they're Kohanim, and we're not going to let them to do something that they didn't do until now, but whatever they did do until now, we allow them to continue because chazaka, which is a huge chiddush. We don't know that they're Kohanim. Until now, they didn't know suffix arose. Now the suffix arose, we should have said stop eating. So he says that you're allowed to continue eating. Chiddush, gedol chazaka. There's a kasha over here. There's a that hold that if you see somebody eating truma, you're allowed to say that he's a verified Kohen. If he eats truma, then he's a miyuchas. So if so, they're going to come to say that they're regular Kohanim. So how could you allow these suffer Kohanim to continue eating truma? Maybe they're going to say that they are. People will come to say that they are full Kohanim, and we know that they're not full Kohanim. There's a suffix about the yichus. The more answer, Shani Yasam the Riachas Kasayu. That they're going to come to be Ma'aleh, Yavo the Halototam. Like he says, no. There's a Kohanim that we don't know if they're Kohanim or not. That's the issue. These families, B'nai Chavoya, B'nai Akos, B'nai Brazila. So suffer Kohanim, either because Halavim or Israel, whatever the case is. So we don't let them. We don't know if they're Kohanim anymore. And he said they can't eat Kodesh HaKadoshim, but the deal is that they could eat Truma. Eat Truma. Because they have a chazaka that they still eat. Until now they're eating truma, they're allowed to continue. But the kasha, some people hold malam truma yochsid. If you see somebody eating truma, you could use that as proof that he's a full-fledged kohen and say this. And people like you let them eat truma. We know that these people are suffering kohanim, and you're going to allow them to continue eating truma. They're going to say that people will come to say that they're good kohanim. The answer is shani yasam the riachas kasayim. Over there's some reyes, there's something that has been weakened about their chazaka. So Rashi says that the fact that everybody else is eating kachim and they're not, so it keeps a label on them that they're suffering. Usually people eat truma, you don't know, but here they're eating truma and dafka not. Taisa says the fact that there was a problem with the yichus, people are going to remember there's a problem, they couldn't find their records, so they're not going to
see that they're not even touching.
Right, or that's Rashi, or Taisa says because there was a big issue about when they came up there to Israel that they couldn't find their records, so people will know that this family, these three families, Chavoya, Kotz, and Barzilai, that these are questionable. And even though they didn't truma, they're not going to come to say that they're full-fledged Kohanim. What is the Yossi mean to learn? If you're just letting them to continue eating what they ate until now, and there's no chash that they're going to get worse, so why do you say Gedol Chazaka? So very difficult. Of course, Gedol Chazaka. We don't know that they're Kohanim, and now a question arose, and you can let them continue eating truma. So what does the Gemara want? What's the Gedol Chazaka? Isn't it a great chiddush that you let them to continue eating truma because they ate until now, even though you don't know that they're Kohanim? Rashi says the Gemara's kash is it shouldn't have said Gedol Chazaka. It should have said Minayin Chazaka. The Gemara doesn't see it as such a big chiddush if it's a chiddush, but it's not such a big chiddush because you're not going to have any chash. They're going to come full-fledged kohanim. So to let them eat truma, which we're going to see soon, that's only going to be truma rabbanan. So it's not called the Gedol Chazak. Show me such kind of show me a chiddush over here. That's a big chiddush. So my answer is the Meikara Achal B'Truma Rabbanan or the Besaf Achal B'Truma Deraisa. That there is a big chiddush over here because still now they're on Bavel. They were only eating Truma Rabbanan because in Bavel is only Truma Rabbanan. Bavel is not chayvin Truma Deraisa. Like nowadays we don't have Truma and Chutz La'aretz. Bavel is chayvin Rabbanan, but now we're going to allow them in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael is Truma Deraisa. So that's a big chiddush. Good. Are you happy?
They're above.
They're going to Eretz Yisrael now. No, they're on the way to Eretz Yisrael.
Oh, and we don't know about their yichus, and still they can eat to your rice.
Right.
True.
That's a big chiddush.
The
Huge
the
chiddush.
chazaka was on the Rabbanan Truma.
Right,
It's
and
not
now
like
it's
it was
even
chazaka on the
more.
right
Now we're doing more than status quo. We're calling it truma. They allow you to continue eating truma, but there's a very big difference. Still now it's only truma of one. Now it's truma the rice. And chazaka doesn't even that also.
This is against the Rambam then.
Huge chiddush, and I don't understand it.
This is against the Rambam.
Oh, so Dr. Fine is asking: is there who's about truma the rice?
Yeah.
Which Rambam are you referring to?
No, it's true. It's true.
Dr. Fine is saying that.
You call you straight him.
That is the truma the rice, and the Gemara assumes without a pasha that there's truma the rice. When you got there, it's Israel, there was truma the rice. Like the final saying that it's not so simple. There's Machokas Rishon, and the Rambam will say that there's no truma the rice in the times of Bayis Sheni. So that's the horror. There's what?
That doesn't help with it being a Gedol.
Right. But the point really is no truma the rice. But the Gemara says there is truma the rice, and that's Gedol Chazak. Right. So this is a Machokas. I think even the Rishonim there's a Machokas in Tanoam or Tamaron. I forgot. And the Rambam, the Rishonim are taking sides. But this Gemara holds that there was Truma Deraisa, and there are those that hold that there's no Truma Deraisa. In order to explain Gedol Chazaka, the Gemara had to say that there is Truma Deraisa. Okay, so we got Pshat in Gedol Chazaka. Ibo Yisema, another tells how to explain this Braisa. The Olam Hashtanami, B'Rabbanan Achol, B'Deraisa Lo'achol. They did not let them eat. Even though Gedol Chazaka, they cannot eat Truma Deraisa. Tell now Chazaka was teach Truma Derabanan, continue eating Truma Derabanan. The Chim Maskina Truma LaYuchsin Midaraisa. Midrabana no Maskina. The question we had about that, how could you let them eat Truma? They're going to end up being considered full-fledged Kohanim. No, even if you're Malam Truma LaYuchsin is only when you eat Truma Daraisa. If you see somebody eating Truma Daraisa, so then you could tell you it must be a Kohen. But if you see somebody eating Truma Rabbanan, like as if it would say, but Mitruma Rabbanan, lo maskina. You don't assume someone's eating Truma Rabbanan that he's a Kohen. So there's no chash about no worry about that. So according to this, there's no chash they're going to become considered full-fledged Kohanim, and you don't even let them eat Truma Deraisa. So here the Gemara does want to know Yachi Ma Gedol Chazak, and now it's a real kasha that you're just letting them continue mamish to eat Truma Rabbanan. That's not just a Gedol Chazaka. The Gemara answers to make a call like Truma Deraisa. The Besov Afagav Dikol Truma Deraisa. That till now they ate Truma Rabbanan, but in Babel there's no chash, no gzera, because there is only Truma Rabbanan. But now they came to Eretz Yisrael and there is Truma Deraisa flying around. Even though you don't let them eat Truma Deraisa, but there's a chash that you eat Truma Rabbanan, I come to eat Truma Deraisa. So that's Gedol Chazaka, that we allow them to continue eating Truma Rabbanan because they did until now, even though there's a chash that they might come to eat Truma Deraisa. So there is a strength of Chazaka. Now the Gemara goes back to the whole issue. How could you say that they allowed them to eat? Oh, I'm sorry. No. Wrong introduction. The Buddha said that you cannot eat Truma the rice, only Truma Rabbanan. But the person not much like that. This is the person we saw before. Nechem told them, they shouldn't eat Kodesh HaKodashim. Kodesh HaKodashim means Karbonos. How could you say that they weren't allowed to eat Truma Deraisa? It just says that they can't eat Kodshim. That means Karbonos. And you're saying that they weren't allowed to eat even Truma Deraisa either, only Truma Rabbanan. Doesn't say that. The Gemara says, Lo midi the mikri kodesh, lo mikri the mikri kadashim. Not what you think that it means Kodesh HaKodashim. Kodesh HaKodashim will Karbonos. The word Kodshim alone means Karbonos, and the word Kodesh means Truma. So they shouldn't eat Kodesh and Kadashim. It's a drash, of course. They should not eat Kodesh and Kadashim. Kodesh means Truma, and Kadashim means Karbonos. And the Gemara explains, Lo midi the mikri kodesh, the Chesiv holds over Yechal Kodesh, and over there it's talking about Truma. So you see that the word Kodesh could refer to Truma also. And Lo midi the mikri kadashim, the Amakro, Vas Kan Kisiyah Zohi B'Shumas Kadashim Osochel. A Kohen Vas Kohen marries Yisrael is not allowed to eat Trumas HaKadoshim, and over there it's referring to Kabbanis. What does Trumas HaKadoshim mean? What you lift up from the Kachim. The woman of Kachim, lo sochal. She's not allowed to eat from what you lifted up from the Kachim, which is, Rashi says, the chaz of a shok. That's you lift it up. So that means Kabbanis. So we got a big parenthesis, a big bonus. The main point, if you want to know, how do you know that there were halalim that came up from Babel? And the answer is because it says by Golim and Akuna. Even though the Pashup Shad might just mean that they were self-reckoning and we couldn't prove that they could maybe the Israelim, but the Gemara says by Golu that there was also issue of halalim over there. So that's the answer to the question. The Pasuk simple, but the Gemara on the side gave us a big bonus that the Pasuk over there says that they may continue to eat something. It says they cannot eat Kodesh HaKadoshim, but they could do less than that. And the Gemara says that they could eat Truma, maybe only Truma Rabbanan, maybe even Truma Daraisa, and that's a big chiddush because now we don't know if they're Kohanim, and that's placed on the chiddush of Gedol Chazaka. The Gemara brought up a couple of problems that if you can let them eat Truma, they might consider Kohanim. Malam and Truma Yuchsin. One teretz says that over here it was not a chash because we see that they're different either because they're not eating kosher, and also because there was a rumor about them. There was a whole Balagan came that didn't have the Ksav Yichus. And the possibility that if they are they allowed to eat Truma Deraisa? So Machok is two Lashonos, if they're allowed to eat Truma Deraisa, either Gedol Chas, even they eat Truma Deraisa, Tzad Sheni, either only allowed to eat Truma Derabanan, and even though the Pasuk Mashma that they just can't eat Kodesh Kabashim, no, they can't eat Kodesh either, they can't eat Truma either.
These families wouldn't have been doing any work in the basement of the Shad, right?
Right. Right. It just says, right. Oh, you're right. They can't do avoda either. They just can't, and they can't even eat kachim. And maybe they can't even eat truma. So maybe only truma rabbanan. Okay, but the main point is that they were halal and they came off. The next one is about Geri. And it says here that in the Maskal over here, it says Geri v'charure, but I think it's only going to say about Geri. And Charuri, I don't know. So Geri Minolan, how do you know that Geri came up to Babel? Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Krov, B'chol Ani Domi Tomas Goyei Oretz Alayim. So this is talking about when they made from Pesach. And where's this pasuk? Pasuk in Ezra Vav, which is still before Ezra came up. It's from the first Aliyah. V'yachlu b'nei Yisrael ha'shavim le'agolov b'chol Ani Domi Tomas Goyei Oretz Alayim. The Jewish Ladino Israel. So it talks about eating the Korban Pesach. They made a Korban Pesach. The base Mikdash wasn't built yet, but they made a Korban Pesach. And the people who came back from the Gola ate, and also all those that separated from the Tumah of the nations to Bnei Israel to seek Hashem Elokai Israel. That's Gerim. That the more seek that as Gerim. The Pasuk Shat and the Pasuk most proportion also don't like that. That they these are the Gerim. The finish of the Gemara is that the Gemara sees that the Gerim came up from Baba. That you might not see. You might say that they became Gerim in Eretz Yisrael. When people came to Eretz Yisrael, so from the guy who were there, so they became Gerim. But the Gemara sees, I don't know how, that they were already Gerim in Babel and they came up together with Am Yisrael. So that's the pasuk. The Gemara that they were Gerim. They came up from Babel. That was the pasuk over here. Those are Gerim. The next one. It says in the Mishnah that Mamzerim came. What is that? Yeah, we didn't find. So it's very strange that the Gemara goes to each one, but this one we didn't find. It happens to be, that halachic status is no difference between a ger and an eved and a shofar. Both of them became Jews, either from being a goy or from being an eved. But to say that they came up, then again, we don't find that they came up. The Gemara doesn't even talk about it. The Gemara doesn't make a vision. Maybe we'll find something else. So far, I didn't see. We didn't see. Mamzeri. How do you know that Mamzerim came up? That means when they came, that talks about, let's see in the pasuk over here, it's nice to have the psukim right here. From Chorom, Tuvia was Eved Ammoni. It sounds like a very Jewish name, Tuvia, but he was Eved Ammoni. He was the Gemara takes him to be an Eved. He was an Eved. So this is talking about when they came up. Nehemiah, he heard years later that Yerushalayim was in a lot of problems and the wall is broken down, and the neighboring goyim are giving tzaras. So he got permission to come, and he was a minister by the Persian king, and he came to help Am Yisrael. And Sanballat and Tobiah heard about it, and it bothered them very much that someone's coming to help Am Yisrael. They were evil people. That's one pasuk. There's another pasuk in Nehemiah that says that Rabim Yehuda Balei Shvuolo, there were people that were loyal to Tobiah. This was not good. It was not good. That some of the Jews, they wanted protection or whatever, and they got close. They got loyal to Tobiah. The bear Tobiah ever that money. Because he was a son-in-law to Shechani ben Aruch. Shechani ben Aruch was a Chashav Jew, and he took a son-in-law, Eved. And also Yochanan ben Lokach's bas Berechia. And Yochanan, the son of Tobiah, he also married a Jewish girl, the daughter of also Chashva person, Meshulam ben Berechia. So what do you have over here? If you put the two psukim together, Tobiah was an Eved, and he married a Bas Yisrael. So what's the din of an Eved who marries a Bas Yisrael? So Moshe says that's machlokes. If it's a mamzer or not, we hope it's not a mamzer. We hope that it's a kasha, like you go Shabbat Bas Yisrael. But the Gemara going that according to Madama that says that it's a mamzer, so we found the mamzerim. Now the truth is also it's also clear that it happened in Babel. The Pasha says it happened in Eretz Yisrael, that they made the shidduchim in Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara seems to be taking it that they made the shidduch already in Babel, which is a big chiddush. But you see that there were mamzerim. Unless we could say that the Gemara doesn't really care if they came from Babel or not. In Eretz Yisrael, there were these different yichusim. Babel is cleaned out from any kind of, but maybe the Gemara just wants to find that there were such people in Eretz Yisrael. I don't know. But here's the pasuk. So here's a combination of two psukim. One is Vayishma Sanballat Techovani B'Tobiah B'Damoni. So let's highlight that part, the parts that we need. It says here, Tobiah Ha'eved. That's what we need. Eved Amoni. Another pasuk. Here, many people were loyal to Tobiah. Because he was a son-in-law to this Jewish person, Shechani ben Aruch. The same thing. His son is also an Eved, married also a Jewish girl. And you have to go at this point because so we found that they were mamzerim because the children born from Tobiah and the Jewish wife were mamzerim. Now we don't pass like that. We pass that the kids were not being mamzerim. That's the most kashana. That first of all, not so simple. We hold that the kid is kosher and the kid wouldn't be a mamzer. So no mamzerim. The Sue, second of all, or more. We might have who said that they had children. It just says that he took a Jewish wife. It doesn't say they had children. Maybe there were no children. If there are no children, no mamzerim. Third of all, the two. Even if they, the Gemara is my the Gemara wants that they should be in Babel. The Gemara says the Gemara wants that they should. This was the Gemara's kasha. You don't. I didn't realize. I forgot. The Gemara is the kasha. Who says that they married in Babel and they came up with the mamzerim? Maybe this whole thing happened in Eretz Yisrael. That they married in Eretz Yisrael, which is the Pashup Shah. So you don't see that mamzerim came up from Babel. So the one knocks it off. This try was not good enough. So this is going to be a drash level of Gamri. Mamshe drash. So we'll go to the side again to get the pasuk over here. By the way, Tel Aviv is the name of a city in Babel. Very strange that they made the city in Israel to be called Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv, all the Tel Melach, Tel Chashar. It's a very Babel name, right?
The three tails, all three in Babel.
All three in Babel. And they made Tel Aviv. Why did they call it? They couldn't find a Jewish name for the not enough Jewish names in the Tanakh. Jewish cities. They had to create a new Babel name. I don't know what they wanted with that. Any information about that? How did they make the name Tel Aviv?
Translated to be Tel Aviv. Sprouting. So Herzl's book Al Noilam, when it was translated to Hebrew, was named Tel Aviv.
The name of the book.
Al Noilam,
What does that mean in
Al Noilam, the Alta Naya.
He didn't say Tel Aviv. He just said
He called it in German.
and they called the
It
book
was translated to Hebrew.
and they someone
the
figured
name
out
of the book was Tel Aviv.
and maybe they called the city really Tel Aviv. But when Mashiach's going to come, I think they're going to change the name. Of course they change it. Aviv. So here, so this is the pasuk again.
Which pasuk is it?
Nehemiah 7, pasuk 61. It does say V'imer. The people, what?
3 people?
three places. They came from Tel Melach. They came from Tel Chasha. Oh, that's how you read it. One second. I thought these are all places. I thought there are 5 places over here. Let me just look it up a second. Nehemiah 7:61. I think that is for 5 places. Tel Melach, Tel Chasha, Krub, Adon, Evi, Mer. And they weren't able to tell their yichus if they were Jewish. Oh, then it says the names of the families. B'nai B'layah, B'nai Toviyah, B'nai Nekodah, Sheish Mios. It says over there it's talking about, what is the whole subject over there talking about?
This is five
This is the copy of what it was written from the first Aliyah. This is the first Aliyah.
It'll be 5 places, right?
5 places, and they weren't able to tell their yichus if they were Jewish.
Uh-huh.
So, and the pasuk is not the same pasuk that it says earlier. It doesn't have. It has the same pasuk earlier. So the Ve'imer is in Nehemiah and Ezra. It's the same as over again. Okay, so no reason that they quoted the Nehemiah one. They should have quoted the Ezra one. Okay, so what does it say in the pasuk? There were families who weren't able to prove their Jewishness. Not before we had they weren't able to prove their kahuna. Here they weren't able to prove if they're Jewish. So that doesn't say anything about mamzerim. So in the pasuk Pshat, you don't see anything. You don't see they didn't know if they were Jewish. What's the next thing over here? So there's going to be a drash now. The drash is going to tell us they were mamzerim, but not in the pasuk Pshat. Here goes the drash. Till here's the pasuk. Now the Gemara is going to explain it, and we're going to dash in just again to highlight which ones we want. Tel Melach, Tel Chasha. Okay, all of this. The pasuk Pshat that they're all names of places. And the more dashes, you know what Tel Melach is? Tel Melach has something to do with salt of Sodom. That like a heap of salt. Who's the heap of salt? Sodom. That they became salt. So the people who did similar to Sodom. So what do we know about Sodom? We know that they did Mishkav Zohar. But the Gemara understands that they did all kinds of arayas and that's going to cause mamzerim. Mishkav Zohar doesn't produce mamzerim, but other kinds of arayas does. So the one understands that they did everything, all kinds of arayas, and maybe the kids that have one are mamzerim, and that's enough for us to know the drash. That for the drash, we know that they are mamzerim. The Gemara continues about more than mamzerim. There's also going to be suffer mamzerim. The Gemara now is going to help us with other of the 10 also. Tel, what am I doing here? Tel Charsha. Zeh shekore abba ve'imo meshatkatu. The Charsha sounds a little bit like being quiet. That the kid calls Abba and the mother says be quiet because it wasn't. We don't know what the father is, and he thinks somebody's his father is not. So that's called the shtuki. And then it also says that he wasn't able to say his lineage, so it means we don't know anybody. We don't know the father either. And this here the Gemara sees already many. It says a mamzer, and you also have shtuki and an asufi, which both of them are suffolk mamzerim.
So now we finished the mission. Kill all 10 things.
All 10. We're just missing the Haruri over there. What are the 10? Kohen Levi Yisrael.
Messinim we didn't talk about.
Oh, we had Mamzerim. Seen him also.
We didn't do a super yet. Okay?
Right here it says that the lo yachlu lagid based up on some zarom in Yisrael heim so asufi shenesef and ashuk. I should really highlight the whole pasuk that we're going to need now. The Gemara is going to dash and tell Melach, and then tell Charsha, and then the lo yachlu lagid based up on some in Yisrael heim. That's it. So based on the drasha, we got Mamzer and Shtuki and Asuki. The Gemara continues with the pasuk.
I'm sorry, what was the Shin?
Which one?
I'm sorry, the Shin Saf.
That's one Asufi, which was gathered in from the market, which the Mishnah says a page ago. That's what Asufi is. We don't know his father or mother. The Gemara continues with the pasuk already. That's not necessary for our drasha, but it does say Kruva Don Vimer. That's going to be going to dash in this pasuk of the also names of places. Amr Abi Avo, Amr Adon. Hashem said, That's a drash, of course. Amar Adon, Adon, Kruv Adon Imer. So what's Dashin Adon Imer? Amar Adon. The master said, Hashem said, Ani Amati Yisrael Fanai Chashuvim Ki Kruv. Vehem Samu Asmam Kinomer. So Dashin in the Omer also. The Omer is like an Omer. So Kruv is something chashuv. But Kruv is a cabbage. Cabbage is chashuv.
Oh, I thought it's Kruven. Like,
Oh, you're right. Thank you. It's good to hear. That the Kruv is the Kruven. Kruv machan. The cabbage, maybe. But Kruvim. So I want to be like Kruvim. That's what Rashi says over here. Rashi says the Kruvim, Kikruv, Kedoshim, Kikruv Kodesh, Chayis Kodesh, Pnei Kruv. So I thought you should be like the Kruvim, and you made yourself like an Omer. So what's an Omer? A leopard. So Rashi says a leopard to be like all Chaya, like all the Chayas that they not makbid on, who they mate with. So it's another drasha to say also about the Mamzerim, that they don't care about the Yichus. Ikadami, a little different drasha. Yeah? Please.
As Kanome.
Oh, so you see Azus, and Azus is Mamzeris. Ikadami, Amr Abivo, this is on a better note. Amr Adon, again, Adon Imer is Amr Adon, Hashem said. But here it goes a little different. Afal Pishin Samuas from Kinomer. And Chashuv and the Fanai Kikruv, even though they made themselves like Chayas and the Zivugim and Mamzer and everything, but I consider them like Kruvim. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah,
Even
Hashem
though-
loves us even though
we do all kinds of
we're-
Averas.
we're-
People should people talk about different levels of people's loyalty to Judaism. I think this pasuk should be also on the
Someone
radio.
said they say Chassidish about if they see this Gemara, I see it where it's coming from. Hashem, someone said that Hashem loves the biggest Russian more than we love regular people.
I'm just adding that this is when they were over there as well. But it will leave me tell Chashuv. That's when it's Kruvim Mir Vadon that I feel.
And because
like
it's Chus
Kanome,
Aliyah,
Hashem considers them like a Kruv.
Because they're going up.
Maybe I don't know. I'm just saying that the pasuk happens to say why the
Well, then they're going up. Oh, then okay, that people.
That's very too.
You were saying something about ice?
No,
No, okay.
but I was trying to say that the pasuk it's something that people should emphasize that even if Am Yisrael are doing Ma'aser Resha, Hashem still cares about them and their significance. Kikruv, Kadoshim. Okay, I don't know what to do with it, but it's something that should be noticed. Now the Gemara goes into, we finished the Mishnah.
What was the point of the number?
Number Rashi says like a chayat that doesn't care about who he mates with. They're acting like a chaya. Then we could say other things about a chaya. All kinds of acting like a chaya. He doesn't care about who he mates with. So you finish the Mishnah, now the Gemara is going to talk about the issue of Yichusim, which was we talked about the whole time now. Different Yichusim. So the Gemara starts. Amar Rabba Bar Chana. I got it right?
Yeah, I just see that now it's going to be another tip. So
A lot of I got it now.
Where
Okay.
did you get the Amri? Right place?
I went a little further. Let me find it.
What was the Yikut?
One is that Hashem said, I want you to be like a Kruv and you're like a Chaya. That upshot is, even though you're like a Chaya, I still consider you like a Kruv. Ikidami, Amar Abu, Afapi, Amar Adam, Afapi, Shasham was from Kenomer, and Chashuv Malapanai Kruv. It also dashins the Kruv and the Nomer. But the first one says, I want to be a Kruv, you became a Nomer. Even though you're Nomer, you're like a Kruv. Nugumos.
Okay.
Amar Rabba Babachana, Kalanosi Shashen Organislo. Mala Labakasa Pilu Chorsho, the Chala Olam Kulo, Chorsho, plowed. The Zoro Melach. If somebody marries a woman who's not fitting to him, which means some kind of a psul, it means they marries a woman who's not fitting to him, halachically, he shouldn't have married her. So the pasuk considers it as if he plowed, like raised the whole. He plowed as if he plowed the whole world and put salt. Zoro melach. So the Zoro means to plant, but it means to scatter salt, makes it unusable.
Unusable, yeah.
And the drush is going to be from the pasuk we said. Shenama be'el olam ital melach tel chasha. There it is. Tel melach tel chasha. Now, how do you see it's talking about that they married women that they're not supposed to? Because the drasha before we said the drasha is. The drasha says something. Since they weren't able to say they're yichus, that means that's called either a mamzer or suffix mamzer. So that's considered. It makes it like it's chorash and melach. Amr Rabba Bachana. What's this? Amr Rabba Bar Rabba Amr Rabba. Kolanos Isha L'Shumamon. Heavy and low. Banim she'ena mugan. If somebody marries a woman for money, so he's going to have inappropriate children. So I have written down this Shonim over here. If it means that he married a puzzle woman, or it's a kosher woman, but he did it. Thank you. Sorry, he did it for money. Let's have some note I saw over here. Isha Shein again. Let's know. What do I have? Rashi says she's puzzle. Rashi says that she's puzzle, and he did it because of money. And the Yam Shlomo says, of course, what's the difference if money, no money? If he's not allowed to marry her, so of course, so the Ram Shlomo says, "Nira lefavi mishpachas safik." I feel that Haruv is safik puzzle the shari, even though there's safik children that really would be mutter. I feel the wachi kama lo yisa. Imu muchzek shumim mishpachas amichasim.
Why didn't you have to say it? Why didn't you say
Well, he
simple?
doesn't just say it because of money.
Right. So then I saw that. Right.
Why don't they learn
Then I
the
saw a different note there. Go
Why
ahead.
didn't they learn the Bash the Gemara?
Pashup Pshat. That's what I think also. And I have written down something about that if I could find it. But maybe, yeah, but could be. I said I have a different note over here. I didn't realize. Rashi says because Ashishisha Psula, and the Ramah brings it down. But the Gra says that Orchos Chaim B'Shem Arrive and argues, and the Ramah also brings it down. B'Shosef also that anybody that marries for money is included in this. But if he would have married her anyway, even though he has money, he's getting money along with it, that's okay. But if he marries a woman, even if she's a kosher woman, but his reason why he's marrying her is because of money, not because of the woman, so it also includes some machlokes. So that it says here, it's,
one is that the children won't be.
that's what it
Gemara
says.
that they won't be.
Right, but who's the Isha Shenim?
But then you were saying, it seems in somebody's name, that the marriage was off.
No, I'm talking about the beginning. You're talking about the end. What's called no Isha L'Shem Mama? What does it mean? This is the case.
He did it for the sake of money, not because he wanted to marry her.
So that's a pshat. Some say now it's talking about a kosher woman or a puzzle woman. What kind of woman is she?
Kosher.
So you said a pshat, but others say not. Rashi says it's puzzle. His incentive to marry her is because of money, but the problem is not because she has money. The problem is because she's puzzle. He shouldn't have married her halachically, and that's how many learn. And you're saying no, it doesn't say like that. It says he married her for money, even if she's a kosher woman. So that the Gemara brings down from somebody from the rival. So this is machlokes I learned the Gemara now. And okay, Shenema Hashem b'Godu kibanim zarim yoladu. That's a pasuk we dash now. Go to the side of it for the pasuk. Here it is. Hashem b'Godu kibanim zarim yoladu. Ato yochleim chodesh es chalkeihem. The more dash in the whole pasuk. The pasuk in Hosea perek hey. Looks like that they rebelled against Hashem because they gave birth to strange children. Now their portion is going to be eaten up in a chodesh. So the Gemara Kadash is talking about somebody who married for money. And again, Machlokes Rishonim, if it means puzzle woman or not. What do I have over here? Make it bigger. And here goes the Gemara. B'Shema Toma woman palat. Okay, so the kids are not going to be fitting kids, but at least you got the money. Maybe palat is like the escape. At least the money escapes. Maybe at least they have the money. The pasuk says no, that money is going to be eaten up. Their portion is going to be eaten up. You might say maybe only his money, but not her money. It means the money that he got from her, maybe that he could save at least. Both monies. I would have thought the other way, that maybe only her money, not his money. His money is also going to get lost, even the money that he had on his own. Maybe okay, they lose the money, but it'll take a long time. That and the Moshe can say right away that it means in 1 month. Why do you see in the pasuk it means about fast time? 1 month comes, 1 month goes, it's going to be over already. It's not going to take a long time until the money's lost.
I just think now that maybe that's the reason why they're saying puzzle, because by a lot of people marry for money, and you don't see who's in with in a month. Maybe that's why they're in Dafka puzzle.
It might be that you can see a lot of women, there are people that marry puzzle women, and also the money stays.
So how do you change? So what's the child?
Like many Gemaras, that means this is a reason for something, right? The other reasons also. Every time I see people that are all kinds of various and they're successful, that's the whole Sefer Iyov. It's how the Quran worship. So the Torah says that the good people have it good, the bad people have it bad, and there are exceptions. Why? So I don't know if it's enough to learn the pshat from the kasha. If anybody has anything to say, please do. From where do you see? Where's it saying the pasuk chodesh? That I really understand the kasha. It says chodesh. Chodesh is a chodesh. How do you? That's what it says. Even Pasuk Pshat, I think that's what I learned over there. Chodesh. How do you see in the word chodesh? Any Rashi on that?
Actually, in the beginning, when Zorim, how do we know it's talking about someone who married the Shem Mama?
Because the end of the pasuk. ולשם מום נסבר כדי מסיים קרוא יוכל חודש אז חוקי moment שנס לשמו יוכל מסתבר that if the money right that has to do with money we see that in the pasuk and the same thing Moshe said opposite. It should have said it first. It should have said first he's going to lose his money. Okay. That's the drash that he's going to have when I'm saying move gun.
How do we know? Yeah.
Okay, and they're going to lose their money in a month.
So you see that it must be that it's talking about someone who married.
You could say not. You could have said different. You could have said the problem is the money and whatever reason he married for. That's what it seems to say. I see Rashi also talks about the problem that I had about his money, her money. Of course, it's all her money. But the Nixes on Barzel and this Nixes Mulug, all of it is what's coming in from her. And you might think that some of her money is going to be left, at least the part that Nixes Mulug, that it's still hers. Nixes on Barzel becomes his. Nixes Mulug stays hers. So Kamashman, everything's going to get lost. And the last thing, what did the Gemara think? Chodesh is not what the word Chodesh means. I'm not sure what the Gemara thought, and I say Rav Nachman Yitzchak to say that it means Chodesh in, a Chodesh out, and the money's lost. I think it's even a Pashup Pshat, but I'm not sure. Next Gemara, what does he say? Kol Anose also about Isha Shein Ogenes. Kol Anose Isha Shein Ogenes lo Eliyahu Koso Bakadosh Baruch Hu wrote. So anybody marries a woman that's not fitting for him, this means that she's puzzle. Eliyahu is going to tie him up, and Hashem is going to give him malchus. V'tana al kulam Eliyahu Kosei Bakadosh Baruch Hu Kosei Oilo Leposei Lazaro Ulapogam Mishpachto Ulanose Isha Shein Ogenes lo. What does al kulam mean? On all these people that are married, women that are not fitting for them, Eliyahu writes it down, and Hashem signs. What does he write? Hashem signs on this document. I don't have to go to the document, but it says it's a document in heaven that Eliyahu writes. Woe to the person who apostles his children. Means by marrying a woman who's not fitting for him, it's a puzzle marriage. So his kids are going to be puzzle. And Pogam Mishpachta, the whole family has a pagam that there's somebody amongst them that's a puzzle. Well, no, Isha Shein Ogeneslo. It's all the same thing, no, isn't it? Seems to be all the same. These words they take out. The next couple of words they take out. Eliyahu Koso Bakadosh Baruch Hu also said it already. Why is he the one who's writing? Why does he have to do anything? To verify the yichus.
Okay, the Chazal, not
Not only the Chokim is right, but also the yichus.
Why did you take it out?
Because it said it already before.
Yes, it's a wrong statement.
It said it here. It said it here already.
Right.
Now it continues. Maybe still middle of the brisa. I'm not sure. Anybody that talks about bad about other people, he himself is puzzle. The famous Gemara.
Oh, this is it.
Anybody who posel, a person who's posel, he's saying bad or psulim. He's saying this person is a mamzer, so he must be puzzle. He doesn't say good things. He's the kind of person who doesn't say good things. He's always finding fault. He's a fault finder. He doesn't say beneficial things and praiseworthy things. He does say bad things.
And that's Kol HaPosel.
Person who passes, you should have said Kol HaPosel available b'davash v'achel olam is pasuk. But l'chora, I don't get it. It should have been written the other way. Anybody that puzzles and he doesn't speak about praiseworthy things, he must be puzzled. But the order is a little difficult. Shmuel says that he might not know about it, but he's subconsciously saying his own psul against other people. Maybe it is consciously when he feels sensitive about a psul that he has. So if you see somebody calling somebody a bad name, Very possible he has the problem. He has the problem. Not a problem. It's a long story. A long story. Beautiful
What was
story.
the last thing about the person?
That you could say call a poster, b'muma post. Anybody that apostles others, he's using his own blemish to apostle other people. He called somebody a stingy person, might be he's stingy. He calls him arrogant, he's arrogant. Now goes a long story. It's pretty late already, but if it's okay, if we can do it, I got it there, or else we're going to fall further behind. Who gava diminado? It's a whole, very long story, very long. Who gava diminado? A man came into a butcher shop. He's from Ado, and he came into a butcher shop in Pumbedisa. Amalahu, Abuli Bisra. So he asked for meat. I'm butcher, he asked for meat. Wait, someone's in line first. He's not really in line first, but the Shamash of Rabbi Yehuda is here, and he goes first. And that's Allah. He's supposed to give a Talmud Chacham to go first, I think. I think he's supposed to give a Talmud Chacham first online. I think so. Here was the Shamash of Rabbi Yehuda, and here Agabat says that Rabbi Yehuda's father's name was Yecheskel. The regular Rabbi Yehuda we always have, Rabbi Yehuda, his father's Rabbi Yecheskel. We had a couple of times. Yeah, question came, but we have that his father was Yecheskel. So the butcher said to this man from Nado, wait for the Shamash. We're going to first serve the Shamash of the Talmud Chacham.
Yehuda was the Sheshiva of Kadisa.
He was more than Talmud Chacham. He said that he was the Rosh Hashiva. He was the head of Pumbedisa. So he wasn't impressed. Man knew the Bashfiskal, the Kadamli, the Shakalman Kamboy. He even made fun of his name. He didn't. His name was Yecheskel. He said, the Bashfiskal, he goes before me. He gets first. What is this? So because that he called him, like Rav said, he's the Rav, and he called him in fun of his name because he wanted to go first. Aslu Amru Rav Yehuda, so they told Rav Yehuda that this person called Yehuda Bashfiskal. The whole story, but not about that. It wasn't going to say soon because with the Shamash, he was Mabazir the time. Shamash of Talmud Chacham.
He said that Shviskal was also was
right, that's barbecue.
Not just saying that the language.
You're saying about the meat eating. What is that?
כדי לגנותו שהוא גרגון. יחזקאל זה...
Not sleep.
That's how me play on his name. So if you put him in Chayim, Jamte. Someone's Baz Talmud Chacham is Chayiv neither. Oh, so what is so it could be something heavenly it does also, but people are supposed to also stay away from him. He's like excommunicated.
Like doing business with him.
Right. So right. There are different levels of excommunication, and some of them you're not allowed to even be in his Dalaramas. One time I saw a very awesome thing that there was somebody who was put in Nidoy. Somebody in Ramanchu. If it was right or not, that doesn't make a difference. But they put him, and then the person, one of the members of the shul, and he came to Rav Nebenson. Rav Nebenson jumped away. First get this thing fixed up.
The person who was put in.
Came to talk to Rav Nebenson. Rav Nebenson jumped away from it. I'm not sure what the story was good, but
They said you have to swap it out.
So there are different. Some people, there is a problem nowadays that Nidu is not worth too much today because one person was with Nidu, so it's not my Rebbe, it's your Rebbe. And that's a problem nowadays. That Chayim is not worth too much. But if you have authority and a person put on Chayim, it's a very big pressure, social pressure. And also could be something in heaven also, something heavenly dangerous,
We know of a case of a man that's put in the Rav in Los Angeles, put the man
in
Chayim. But the man's father has his own shul, and so he goes there and gets his aliyah. So, on the one hand, the community is in Chayim, but he doesn't care because he has his own shul.
That's a problem. It talks about Allah, the whole sugya, and the sugya of Chayim, and sometimes it doesn't affect in other communities. Different, or someone that's bigger than him. Okay. Amru, Ragal V'Inchi Avdi. They told of you that he calls people Avadim. He has another issue. Besides that, now he insulted the Shamash of Rav Yehuda, but he also calls people Avadim. And he gets angry, somebody calls him an Eved. Achros Alei Davdu. So Rav Yehuda said he's an Eved. Based on our Gemara, they call him Muma Poso. That's how Sugi comes in. So he said,
he made him an Eved.
He said you're official. He said that he has. We have to be. We assume that he's an Eved. And this got the person angry. So that person, he doesn't have a name in the whole Gemara, it's the same name. But that person, he went to call him to a din Torah to Rav Nachman. Called Rav Yehuda to a din Torah to Rav Nachman. Now, Rav Nachman, we're going to see in the Gemara, he wasn't as big as Rav Yehuda, and he wouldn't have called him if he would have known who Rav Yehuda is. but he didn't know. So they summoned him to Bezdin. I see Pitka Dasmana, and he brought a Hasmana, a summons to the Bezdin. So Rav Yehuda wasn't sure he's supposed to go to the Torah because a big person, a bigger Talmud Chacham doesn't have to go to a smaller Bezdin. If he's summoned by a smaller Bezdin, it's not the right thing. A bigger Bezdin could call him to a Din Torah, but not somebody that's smaller. So he went to Rav Huna to ask him if he should go. Amalei, oh, Ezel or lo Ezel, should I go or not? Amalei, so Rav Huna told him, Mezel or boy lachom Ezel, mishum degaber Rabbat. Really, you don't have to go because you're a bigger Talmud Chacham than Rav Nachman, and you don't have to go to his Bezdin. Ella mishum yikor the Ben Nasiya kumzil, but because of the covenant of the Nasi, the Ben Nasi, because Rav Nachman was the son-in-law of the Nasi, the Reish Galusa. So because of the Reish Galusa, then he should go. Not because of Mitzad Talmud Chacham, you don't have to go. But Mitzad the Reish Galusa, you should go. Asa ashkechet the covenant Micah.
Like politics.
No, it's proper. What does politics mean? There's covenant.
Nachman was smaller than.
Right, but as far as governmental power,
His father was the
father-in-law.
was Reish Galusa.
Yeah.
So that's
there's proper. No, we're going to see what happens. But it means that there's derech eretz for the government.
Rashi,
Differently.
no. Rashi just explains that the Nachman was in Nardo. This person came from Nardo.
So he went back to his
And
city.
he went back to Nardo to his
To
city.
call
where
Rav
Nachman was
Yehuda. But that's the reason why he didn't have to go. I thought Shata Golam Menu Rashi at the Rosh Pumpah Medisa. Rav Nachman he does say Rav Huna Rosh Pumpah Nardo, the Dayan the Rosh Galusa, V'chasei the Ben Lucia. So here he does say that you're bigger than him. Rashi does throw in the point that you are bigger than him. But maybe the point also he doesn't have to go to a different city. That I'm not sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Chasei the Ben Lucia. That's true about the Rosh Galusa, right?
Because he was related to the Nasi, it would be proper for him.
Right.
Okay.
It's proper derech eretz to go. But we're going to see. We're going to see that. No, you're going to see now that there's not going to be any favoritism at all. But and Rav Nachman was going to say, if I would have known, I wouldn't have called you. No. Okay. So now, Asa Ashkei covered Micah. So Rav Yehuda came to Rav Nachman, and he saw that he was building a fence. Amalei l'sabel amar lahadam Ravun lavar idi yam Shmuel shum shenisma adam panis al tzivu asal lasias malacha b'fnei shlosha. Don't you hold that what the Shmuel says that when a person is appointed for a public position, he's not allowed to do malacha in public. It's not proper, not covered for the community. That the one who's the leader, he's a official position and he's doing work, so you're not allowed to do work in public. Amalei porta de gunderisa hu de kavidnas. He meant to say it's a small thing, it's not a big deal. It's a small malacha. It seems he knows the halacha that you're not supposed to do malacha, but he didn't consider this a big malacha. And gunderisa is a fence, but he didn't call it a fence, he called it a gunderisa. So he says, and Rav Yehuda is going to catch him on all the words now. Rav Yehuda is going to say that's not the way you talk. It's not proper to talk the way you talk. You're not supposed to talk in flowery words that nobody knows what you're talking about. And he's going to catch him on a lot of words. Sometimes people do that. But he says you should talk the normal way of talking. I think so. I think it's derech eretz. Does Rashi say anything? I didn't see Rashi. Yeah, I didn't see it. Let's go through it before. Rashi first of all says the reason why you're not allowed to do work is because it's a good night for the people, the door shekfu from that the leader doesn't have to be people that are taking care of his businesses. But Rashi seems to say that. Rashi seems to say that. You're supposed to talk in a language people understand. The normal way of talking. Don't say words that are the average person doesn't know what it is. So on this word. There's something wrong with the way that the Torah talks, the way the Rabbanan talk. The Torah calls it a makeh, the Chachamim call it a machitza, you have to call it a gunderisa. Okay, bye. Please sit down on the bench, but he called it a karfita. Well, he called it a karfita. Either Lashon Chachamim or Lashon people, either call it a safsal, which now is also taking to call a bench in Hebrew, or itztava, which is the way that people talk. They call it itztava. So don't call it a karfita. What's that? Amalei lechel mar esrunga. Please have esrog. But he said esrunga. Amalei hachiyam Shmuel kalam esrunga til sabaram esrucha. Shmuel said that somebody says the word esrunga, he's like a third of him is gasus. He's an arrogant person. Oh, esroga can carry rabbanan. Oh, esroga. Damriyim should either call it esroga. But what's esrunga? That's not the way he thought. I'm sure there must be something deeper over here in the whole discussion, but in the Pashup Shah, he's just saying you don't talk like that. Amalei Lishtima an Abga. Please have some an Abga. Amalei Mistani asparagus to carry a bun of unpicked Inchi. Again, the words he's using are not the regular way of talking. Either call it asparagus or call it unpicked. Amalei Tesi Dunik Tashkinan. That my daughter Dunik should come and give us a drink. He called his daughter. His daughter's name was Donag. That she should come. Donag should come and pour us a drink. Amalei Yachia Mashmul Yemishtamshin Bisha. That you're not supposed to be served by a woman. A father, of course, yes, but you're not supposed to serve me.
A regular,
A regular one?
is a regular drink?
I think it's wine. I think it's
Okay, so
wine.
That would make sense.
Is
Because
it-
regular,
Let's see. And Mishamshin, I'm not sure. Rashi says the reason is because a woman shouldn't be used to serving other men. So I'm not sure. I said wine, but I can't say for sure. Let's see more. I'm not sure. So he said she's a young girl, Ktana. She's only Ktana. Ktana should be mutter. So he said no. The fair Hashem was Shmuel and Mishnah should be Sheklal. Ben Gedol Ben Ktana. You're not supposed to be served by a woman, even by Ktana. So it's not proper that you're telling her to serve. Ravid is giving Musa to Rav Nachman the whole time, back and forth. The Shadalei Mashal Mo Yalta. Next, weiter. That Rav Yudah, Chashav a guest, you should send regards to my wife Yalta. Amalei Hachya Mashmuel. Called Bisha Erva.
What does that have to do with Kol Bisha?
Called Bisha Erva. So Rashi says. If I'm going to greet her, she's going to answer me something. I don't want to hear her voice. I don't want to hear a woman's
You're
voice.
now not hearing a woman's voice?
So that's a kasha, maybe.
No, that's the conversation. A little woman's voice is not a conversation. You shouldn't ask your wife a conversation.
What about that?
Can I ask your wife what time it is? I don't get to a Chol Chabad or whatever. I think we need to have a conversation. I can't start asking your wife how she's doing or whatever.
So I could have understood the Gemara says that not for Kol Bisha Erba. I could have thought for other reasons. But the Gemara does say Kol Bisha Erba. What?
זה ויבש שישמע השליח את קולם מכל מקום, אין בזה ישוב עבר, שווה יהיה נשום בשמו.
You're going right there. You're going with the Shliach. Next Gemara.
לפיכך לא יבש... sorry.
That's a good question.
That one.
I mean, if the Nisi was told each other he's going to talk to him, so why is the shliach better?
Because she's not going to talk to me.
She's going to talk to the shliach.
Which Shliach?
Oh,
The
she's
Shliach.
not
The
going to
Shliach.
be
Here he says, מכל מקום
This is
שאלה
the same- this is the great
שם,
Rav Nachman.
כל וירבון, מכיוון שהיא מביאה לידי קיר ודעת סחיבה.
I missed it. In English, whatever.
מביאה לידי קיר ודעת סחיבה. Just
Not because of Kol, not like Rashi says.
No,
The Gemara says Kol
because of the
Bisha Erba. Kol Bisha Erba. So what's the answer?
not because of the call. That's what she's going to say. Thank you. So the answer is
Are we okay with the Gemara or
I
not?
know Eli Travis wanted to say one. Let's see if it's over in the Gemara. It said that Kol Bisha Erba means any call not revealed. Kol Bisha it's already.
Someone says such a greeting, so it's going to be with a little bit of emotion. I've written down something, I didn't read it yet, I have some notes over here. Kol Bisha, Poskim not to the rock called Zemra B'Erba of local Dibor. The Poskim only saw a singing voice, not stam talking. The mother was Sugyan Muchach, Dav called Dibor also, Tirat Harashba, in Brochas Chavdala, the Mashim Shiva al Sheila Shlomo, Gorat Fei. Similar to what you're saying. That it's something that's more personal. And the Bishmul brings us down. Ayin Ritva, Sofa Masach, the Mashma, the Bemis, Afilu called Dibor also. He also holds that, he argues, says that you're not allowed to hear the woman speaking either, even regular speech. Sisra depends on each person's individual inclination. He wants to hear the voice because he enjoys even the regular voice of talking also as us. And also something about Sheila Shalom. I'm going to say soon. Taisvis is Mate Elishol Labaila. How is she doing? That's Gemara Bab Metzia.
What is
The
it?
dear
Which
girl
one
on the
do
side
they
of the
call
Taisvis
Bisha
Shabbat
Erba?
Bab Metzia. Shechol Kumazim. Wafashim Davze Aser Elishol Aye Plonis. The girl argues and says that you're not. The girl argues also B'Shem Taisvis that you're not allowed to also send Shalom to the wife through the husband. You just could ask the husband.
How's your wife doing?
Aye. Where is she?
From Ayesorish.
They're going on Aye Sarah Shtecha. This show Lebaila Mutta. Again, Taisva says, this show Lebaila Ech Shlomo, not to send regards, but to ask how she's doing. And even that's not focus. Sometimes only to ask where is she, whatever that means.
What,
Okay.
I didn't catch the Ritva says that
That even Dibor is also us.
so what So what do we make along? What do we serve
He
along?
says it's all these isurim depend on each person. It's subjective.
I mean, if it's Ma'ir,
Yeah. Again, we have question on the Gemara here. He said, say hello to my wife.
We need a Rashi, so. That's the
All this
answer.
is Reb Nachman.
Yes.
Reb Nachman was a gadol b'Torah.
So he had answers, but then some of the answers weren't good. The Shmuel says different. He said that is taught that's mutter ketana. So Shmuel says asik ketana. He said send to say hello. So he said Shmuel said these are members of Shmuel. It's not Mishnayos. So he said Shmuel says the kol b'she'eva. He didn't know the members of Shmuel. He read this Talmud of Shmuel. Yes. What do we have? Kol b'she'eva. Therefore, I can't say hello to her because she's going to answer me. And the question is, what's wrong with answering? Either the was also was, or because it might be more of an emotional response. So if Nachman says so, send her through somebody. Shmuel, and it could be the author was right there. It sounds like Ein Shalom V'Shalom Misha, even period. Ein Shalom V'Shalom Misha. How about through me? Al Dei Baila, you could send regards to her from me. Amalei Yachem Shmuel Ein Shalom V'Shalom Misha Klal. Period. Not even through the husband. So that's not Gemara. You're not allowed to send a welcome to a woman. And the post can talk about if you're allowed to ask the husband how the wife is doing. Shalchale devisu. So his wife heard what's happening over there, and her husband's getting clapped the whole time. Shalile tigre, the lona shavik sham oretz. Let him go. Shalile tigre is an expression to do whatever he had, free him, like release him. Let him take care of whatever he's coming for, and let him get out because he's going to make him like an amoritz. Amalei my shated the marocha. So he asked Rav Yehuda, what's the Rav doing here? What shaite mean? Madarka lashut. Like, what are you roaming around here? I guess it's like, what is your business here?
This is after he gave him to eat and to drink and told him to say thank you to his wife and the whole no, not thank you. After the whole
This was like just agreed. The Joshua person came, so we gave him to eat and drink. Sit down, have a drink, and this is my wife. Amalei Taska Dasmanu says, "Show them our Basra. You sent me a summons. That's why I came. Because I sent you a summons.
Didn't he know?
Someone came and said I have a machlokas with this person and get it as money. Amalei hashta shusa the ma'ala gamina taska dasmanu mishadanu lamar. I don't even know what when you talk. I don't understand you, and I send you as mana. Like who am I? Apik diska dasmanu sami bechad. He took out as mana. He told him. He said, "Here it is. Amalei hagabra das diska. Here I am. This is das mana. Here I am." Amalei, oh, I wouldn't have called you, of course. But now that you're ready, so maybe do tell me what the issue is, because it shouldn't look bad. It shouldn't be like the Rabbanan. They flatter each other, and since they're Rabbanan, so I'm not gonna take your case. Doesn't look good.
You know, Reb Nachman was fascinated by it.
Yeah, and even I said, I'm a nobody, and I shouldn't have called you to Din Torah. But if I did, so then it won't look good. People will say that we're flattering each other, and since you're a Rav, so I'm going to show you favoritism. So I'm not allowed to do. Amalei, my time is Shamte Ma'alahu Gabra. So they're starting the Din Torah. Why did you put him in the Chayrim? So he said, Tzia Shlicha D'Rabbanan. Because he was Metzvaza, even Tzar, Shliach D'Rabbanan, my Shamish. So he's a Mevaz Talmud Chacham. So he's Chayiv Nida. So he said, V'nag Deimar, why not have given him Malchus? He should have given him Malchus. The Rav Mangir al Madim B'Tzar Shlucha D'Rabbanan. That Rav used to give Malchus to somebody that would be Mevaza Shliach of the Chachamim. So he said, Dipamine, so Rashi says, I did worse. I did more Chomer. There is such a thing as giving Malchus, but Chayrim is more Chomer than Malchus, which is a big thing. That's also a Chiddush. Maybe if you want the more the opposite, that I was making on him. I'm not sure. Rashi says I was Machmer. Okay, so that was okay. Now you called him an Eved. My time, let's shrink it over here. My time, Achis Maralei, no, a little bit more. No, okay. My time, Achis Maralei Davdi. Why did you say that he's an Eved? Amalei, the Rav of the Korean Shiavdi. The Dani Kala Posel, Posel, Benavadav Shvachalola, Bamashmol, the Muma Posel, because he calls people Avadim. And there's a brisa that says that a person who apostles others is apostle himself. He doesn't say praiseworthy things. And Shmuel said that he's apostling with his own mum. So if you want people, he calls people an Eved, that's what his minig is. So he must be an Eved. But Rav Nachman said, Rav Nachman, that's only that you have to be choshesh, but you're not allowed to announce that he's in there. It's not a definite, it's just a chash. But you announced it, made it like it's a given. Adachi v'achi, Amalei Ahu Bar Dine v'Rav Yehuda, L'Didi Kovetz Li Avda, Ta'asini v'Beis Chashmonai Malka. At the time, Hashem orchestrated it right then that
This
this Cheverman, yeah, the one who's the one, he's there, but I didn't tell him. He was there, the Shekinegdo. So he said, "You call me an Eved, you know who I am. I have the Yichus from the Beis Chashmonai." On the contrary, I'm a Kohen. You call me an Eved, I'm a Kohen. I come from the Chashmonai family. Amalei said, now you got him. On the contrary, that's the Shmuel says, everything's from Shmuel, that anybody says I come from Chashmonai is an Eved, because the story was over there that the Beis Chashmonai was killed out, and Hordes took over, and he's an Eved. Is that true about Hordes? That I got it right over there? Amalei lo sovel amar the Amar Abba Amar Rab Huna Amar Rab Kol Talmud Chacham Shemar Allahu Ba Im Kodem Ma'aseh Amar Shamalo V'Im La Ben Shamalo. Don't you hold like Rab's member that says that you only trust Talmud Chacham comes with a new member that you never said before. You don't trust him only if he said it before it was relative to him. But if you only tell us this member for the first time after it's relative to you, so we're not allowed to trust you. Even a Talmud Chacham that comes and says, I have a Masorah that this and this Rab said something, he has to have said it before it was relative to him. But once it's relative to him, we don't trust him. So how could we trust you that this member is true? I'm not the only one who said it. Rav Matana says so. And Rav Matana wasn't in the neighborhood usually. And like it says, Rav Matana for 13 years he hadn't been visited Na'adot. That day he happened to be there. And he happened to be, Rav Matana happened to be there 13 years after he wasn't. And if you'd asked him, do you remember what Shmuel says about Beis Chashmonai? He didn't say that. Do you remember that time Shmuel was going onto a bridge? What's that? He had 1 foot. Shmuel was standing 1 foot on the bridge, Guda, and one.
The side of the Nile, no? And the
Guda means the Guda. The Mavra is the ferry or the bridge, and a Guda. The Guda just means the side.
And he was going on to the bridge, right?
Right.
So 1 foot on the side and 1 foot on the bridge.
Rashi is two pshatim. Either means bridge or means a ferry. Good. And the Guda means the Sfas Hanor. So Shmuel was going onto the bridge or going onto the boat. Remember what Shmuel said over there? He didn't even tell him what the subject was. He wanted to show everybody that, I guess, I didn't even give him a hint of what the member was. What was that member of Shmuel? So he said, if anybody says I come from the house of the Chashmonaim, Avdahu, he's an Ebed. Why? Here it says a story. There was only one girl that was left from the house of Chashmonai. The Salko Ligro Baram Mikol of Amra called Dama Ves Chashmonai Ana Avdahu Nafla Migro Misa. That there was a story of the remnant of Ves Chashmonai was one girl left, and someone wanted to be Mazana with her, and an Eved wanted to be Mazana with her, and she went up to the roof, and she pronounced, whoever's going to say from now on, the house of Chashmonai is really an Eved because there is no Chashmonai left. I'm the last one, and she jumped off the roof and killed herself. So you see that he's an Eved. So now he proved that he himself was more that he's an Eved. So now Rav Nachman, he also declared that he's an Eved. Now we have proof that he's an Eved. Before Rav Yehuda did it based on that he called other people an Eved. That wasn't enough because you only got to be choshesh. You can't act on it. But now he himself admitted with his evidence that he was that he's now an Eved. On that day, many ksubas were torn up. Why? Because from that mishpacha of that guy in Arda, that other people also from that same family, and now they found that there is an Eved. So people tore the ksuba. That's the way to say it. They tore the ksuba. That means they divorced them without paying ksuba. What do you say?
No, that's kind of what else is included when that's found out.
If they have brothers, so then you can marry. If they're shifcha, top family shvacha, so a Jew is not allowed to marry a shifcha. When Ravida was leaving the town, people were stoning him because they all became avadim now. Some families became avadim. If you're going to be quiet, leave me alone. Good. If not, I'm going to announce more mamzerim. Maybe not mechuyev to announce. The Tatis are there are two families in Arda. The No, he didn't say it, I guess. If he said it, it's too late. But there was another thing I have to say, and if you leave me alone, I won't say it. If you're going to bother me, I'm going to say it also. One family is called the Yonah family. One is called the Ore family. The Yonah family is kosher, but the Ore family is puzzled because the simon about the Yonah is kosher and Ore is Torah. Shadiua lahu rigma mita. Everybody dropped their stones. They got scared that he's going to announce it. That's put this in parentheses, right? Something else. I'm going to put in parentheses because the Chori didn't say it. He just said, I'm going to say something if you don't leave me alone. So
he didn't say the family name.
So he didn't say the Yonah and the Zar. He didn't say that part.
He said, but that was not the family name that was known as.
Okay. And then everyone dropped their ammunition. Shadula Rigma Midai. All of them dropped their stones. Atma Nar Malka. And
So dam for the Nahal. That's how much stones were.
there were so many stones. So many people wanted to stone a lot of stones that it made a block in the river. It got the itma stima. It stuffed up the water because there were so many stones. It could be probably an exaggeration, but that's the story. How does it come in? Because called a posa, posa. Okay, that's for tomorrow. Okay, we went a half hour over time. Hope everybody enjoyed. Okay.